You ever catch yourself staring at the screen late at night, heart pounding, because you know something earth-shattering is on the brink, but nobody will say it out loud yet? Like the silence before a storm that's ready to rip through the league and rewrite everything we thought we knew about this franchise. Detroit, the city that's been battered, broken, and bruised by decades of heartbreak, is whispering a name that could change everything, but the noise hasn't hit the airwaves yet. Insiders are quietly trading glances, executives behind. Closed doors are holding their breath, and fans like us, we're sitting on the edge of a cliff, waiting for the drop. The buzz is building stealthily. No, this isn't just another off-season rumor. This is the kind of seismic shift that echoes through years of pain, through every near miss and every blown drive that's haunted the Lions since forever. And then here it is, Trey Hendrickson. Yes, that Trey Hendrickson, the Cincinnati Bengals. Relentless pass rusher, who absolutely terrorized quarterbacks last year with a league-best 17.5 sacks, hitting the QB harder and more often than almost anyone else in the league. An All-Pro, a Pro Bowler, and a guy who's entering his prime at 31. Still hungry for success, maybe even desperate for the kind of security and respect his contract negotiations in Cincinnati are failing to deliver. Imagine what the roar would be like in Ford Field if the Lions actually landed him pairing Hendrickson with Aiden Hutchinson, arguably two of the NFL's top 5 edge rushers. A terror tandem that would shred offensive lines, reshape opposing game plans, and haunt quarterbacks across the NFC North and beyond. Because let's be honest, our depth behind Hutch has been shaky at best. Marcus Davenport is healing from injury and hasn't proven much when healthy. Josh Paschal struggled to hold the fort with Hutch down. And if we're honest with ourselves, that pass rush depth chart was a flaw Detroit can't afford if we want to keep lighting up the scoreboard next season. The staff shake-up, the departure of Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, the head coaching gigs, only adds pressure to the front office. Add firepower. Bring in a game changer. Plug the holes before the roof caves in again. But the question that's etched in ice through the veins of every Lions fan right now is, will Cincinnati even listen? We know the Bengals. They're notoriously tight-fisted when it comes to trading stars for anything less than a first-round price. And they're currently tangled in contract disputes with their rookie Shemar Stewart, their next big pass rushing hope, who hasn't budged on the fine print. So it's not just about Detroit's willingness to make a move. It's about how much meat on the bone the Bengals demand to part with their star. According to NFL analysts like Mo Moden, a package including a second and fifth-round pick might be enough for the Lions to pry Hendrickson free. But that's a steep price when the Bengals want thunder and lightning in return. This isn't just a simple trade. It's a high-stakes gamble wrapped in layers of drama, legality, and the unsaid desperation of a team trying to secure its long-term future. And for Detroit, this could be the moment where a shadow lifted for the last 30 years finally burns away. We've stood witness to the agony since '91, the endless carousel of coaches and quarterbacks, the heartbreaks that tore at the very soul of the city's sports fans. But here right now, there's a chance that the Lions could flip the script in a way that no all-season rumor before has dared to dream. What if acquiring Hendrickson isn't just a Band-Aid? What if this is the spark that lights the fuse on a championship contender? A team that breaks its chains and charges through the NFL with the ferocity of a pride starved for glory. What if this trade wakes the lion inside every single player? Every fan, every street corner in Detroit hungry for redemption? But it's not just hope, there's fear too. What if the Bengals hold firm? What if this deal collapses under the weight of their demands and Detroit misses this shot? What if this opportunity slips through our fingers and the window inches? Another year closer to shutting? This is more than a trade. This is a crossroads for the Lions, a test of the front office's nerve, and a moment of truth for the faithful who have waited too long for a sign. Imagine the city holding its breath, the grass at Ford Field ready to be stormed by a defense that's nightmarish to any offense, the seats filled with fans who finally have real reason to believe. And if this domino falls, if Trey Hendrickson shows up in Honolulu blue, brace yourself, because it won't stop there. Detroit's not just rebuilding anymore. We're coming for blood, for pride, for a season that will make all the pain of the past pale in comparison to the roar of the future. The fuse is lit, the stage is set, and all that's left is to wait for the explosion. So if your heart's pounding, if you felt that spark of hope flicker the flame every time you thought it was snuffed out, make some noise down below. This might just be the moment Detroit stops dreaming and starts dominating. Enough silence, roar now or forever. Be forgotten. Because let me tell you, this isn't just some off-season rumor swirling in the shadows of Ford Field. It's the blood and fire of Detroit's relentless heartbeat pulsing through every corner of this city. Every soul that wears the navy blue and silver with pride, praying for a sign that the long night is finally ending. We've watched them tumble, stumble, and scrap to scrape out victories in a league stacked against us. Remember 0-16. Remember the pain of that season where hope seemed as distant as a playoff win that never came, where fans like us clung to. Scraps, and Dan Orlovsky's safety was a miracle in itself. Yet somehow, through the chaos, the scars, the heartbreak, we kept believing. Believe in what? In the possibility that the Lions, shamed for decades as the eternal underdog, are about to flip the script in a way nobody saw coming. A seismic shake that echoes louder than Calvin Johnson's retirement, louder than Barry Sanders shaking off his cleats for good, louder than Caldwell's firing that left Detroit questioning if the franchise had any soul left. Because here we are again, at the crossroads of history, staring into a future where trades sit like ticking bombs agents, whispering about Hendrickson like a damn myth turned reality. And you can feel the intense tension around the league cornered. Teams scheming, NFC North rivals sharpening their claws, knowing full well what Detroit could become with just one lightning strike, one game-changing edge rusher who leaves quarterbacks shaking in their cleats. Imagine the locker room filled with a mix of desperation and hope. Behind closed doors, rumors fly like wildfire. Can Detroit outbid Cincinnati's greed, snatch Hendrickson away from their grasp when the Bengals are still licking wounds from their own unraveling? We've seen front offices desperate before, clawing at the air, trying to hit on that one move that pushes them over the edge. Think back to Matthew Stafford's trade, the gut-wrenching wait for a franchise-changing receiver. And yet, every failure has only fueled the fire that now burns hotter than ever. This isn't just about filling holes. It's about unleashing an identity that Detroit fans have been screaming for over 3 decades. Aggressive, relentless, impossible to contain, a team that finally refuses to be the punchline of NFL jokes. And then there's the history, the scars of past failures that gnaw at every fan's mind. Jim Caldwell's firing after playoff heartbreak, the wild card collapses that crushed playoff dreams, the endless cycle of rebuilds that felt like punishment, each one sharpening our hunger. Will Hendrickson be the missing piece that flips this tired, battered franchise into a relentless storm? Will this trade light the fuse that detonates years of frustration into a season that's worth every tear, every sacrifice, every night spent dreaming of a Lions team that marched to the beat of its own drum? What if this is the moment Detroit finally transcends the shadows? What if this is the spark that ignites a Lions revolution? But make no mistake, the Bengals aren't bending easily. Their front office is known for their tight grip, their stubborn hold on their stars. It's a high-stakes chess match where every move could shatter or shatter us further. Could Detroit's bold gamble, offering up a 2nd and 5th round pick, be enough to pry Hendrickson loose? Or are we walking into a trap step right into the jaws of Cincinnati's greed, watching a window slam shut while the hunger for vengeance and legacy grows fiercer in the shadows? And in the midst of this chaos, we're haunted by what's lost, those moments, those seasons where Detroit had glimpses of greatness, but fell just short last year's playoff push. The narrow escapes, the bitter taste of what could have been if only certain plays had gone differently. Are we destined to forever chase that elusive blue-silver trophy? Or is this the domino that finally collapses the old order? The stakes have never been higher. Every player's sweat, every front office decision, every fan's whispered prayer. is now proceeding toward this moment. What if in the next heartbeat, the Lions make the leap they've been dreaming of? And if Hendrickson joins us in Honolulu Blue, can we even imagine how loud the roar will be, how the city will erupt, how the history books might finally start to rewrite themselves? But here's the thing. What if it doesn't happen? What? If Cincinnati digs their heels in, or Detroit's offer can't match the price? Will we watch that pivotal moment slip away, knowing that every second dragging past is one step further from a true resurgence?